These people are responsible for what they did.
Russell Dvorsky has no question in his mind who bears responsibility for the Texas energy crisis brought on by our February deep freeze.
If a drunk driver goes down the road and kills somebody, he's charged with manslaughter. These ERCOT directors and PUC are just as culpable as that.
With the electric grid on the verge of collapse, ERCOT jacked up the price to the maximum allowed by law to get more electricity flowing. But it took power companies time to reach a point where everything stabilized. Watchdogs say ERCOT overcharged $16 billion and asked it to give more than $4 billion back.
That was by order. And that order can actually be undone to where all of the transactions that traded for a period of time are settled at a lower amount. And some of these losses can be just paper losses.
What are paper losses? Well, not money you've made, but money you expect to make that you won't make as much of for all kinds of reasons. So the profit or loss only exists on paper.
The devastation and the suffering that you have endured over the past week.
But while the governor sought to comfort voters about the Texas energy crisis, the Abbott administration showed a growing reluctance to take definitive action, citing potential damage to the market. Economist Ray Perryman admits that's a risk.
It is difficult to undo what a market did, and it does send some very bad signals out there.
He cites how New York City came to the brink of bankruptcy in 1975 as leaders revealed they didn't have the cash on hand to meet the city's debt. Just the hint of insolvency, he says, roiled the bond market for years after.
It ultimately paid its bonds, but because there was a vote not to honor a market commitment, it was years and years before many investors would touch New York again.
Texans will not have their power shut off.
And the governor can't afford to have that happen to Texas. So he sent his last standing public service commissioner to reassure the financial markets, bond traders and the like, that Texas would follow the rules of its electricity market and not rewrite them to fit its current finances. That would seem to effectively kill off any chance we have of getting a rollback of ERCOT's price spike. So in all this talk of paper losses and rolling back charges, where will the bill really end up? Where it always does. Experts say we taxpayers will foot the bill for this massive failure, if not in taxes, then almost certainly in higher utility rates. And Russell Dvorsky says that does nothing for Texans, some on the edge of bankruptcy themselves, from out-of-whack power bills.
The elected officials on the state level that sent the ERCOT manager, the PUC manager to Wall Street to say we're going to protect you, where were they to protect the 58 people that froze to death?
Something the families of those 58 people want to know, and something we all might think about before the next disaster. Dennis Turner, 25 News.